Hi, this is Ishaan from Ref Sports along with Debasis. We've arrived in Florida from New York. We've actually arrived in like around 1 o'clock and it wasn't raining at that time. And we thought, the weather conditions are looking pretty good. We were happy and almost inspired, thinking that, maybe these three games will be played out beautifully and there won't be any issues no matter what the forecasts are saying. But apparently, the forecasts were right. After, I think, an hour and a half or so, we decided to walk on the street, get something to eat. And just then, when we thought everything was going as planned, it can never go as planned.
In fact, we recorded. In fact, we recorded a video. Highlighting the weather when we were at the stadium, at the Central Broward Park Stadium. It was not raining. It was overcast, yes, but it was around 2 p.m. and then around 5 p.m. it started pouring down. And we as we promised that we would be keeping on updating what the weather is like. So this is the new video, a fresh video highlighting the weather. Obviously, it was raining cats and dogs just a half an hour back. It's still raining, but it's a little slight drizzles. But then obviously there is forecast of flash floods in South Florida. We have already seen in local televisions that there has been flash floods in Aventura. So things are not looking bright as far as the three matches are concerned. Obviously, India has the training session today, and hopefully the weather stays away. But it's very unlikely. We might see that the Indian practice session gets cancelled, and there's also a match between Ireland and USA, which might also get cancelled. We already saw a match being cancelled earlier. So, Ishaan, things are not looking great.
Things are not looking bright at all, Debasis. I think, a lot of hopes and expectations were there in these three games. They were scheduled as well, but, if it's going to rain like this, then it's obviously looking very difficult for those three games to play out. And obviously, the Indians have made it through to the Super 8s. But the other teams have a lot to play for, especially Pakistan. A lot of Pakistani fans will be disappointed. A lot of them are complaining that maybe they should change the venue. But like we know, you can't change the venue. It's too late to change the venue. And if you wanted to be sure about qualifying for the Super 8s, win those two games. Win against USA, win against India. They couldn't do that. And now they're complaining.
Are you crazy?
Are you telling me or are you telling them?
I'm telling them, obviously. It's not a local tournament. It's a T20 World Cup, and never ever did you hear that venue being changes just because of the rain predictions. Obviously, we saw what it was like after the game between India and USA, where the stadium, that the local organizers started to dismantle the stadium with those cranes. Yeah. So obviously there is another venue here in New York, Dallas, but I don't think that might happen. And we saw the advertisement boards outside the Central Broward Park, where it was broadcasting the three matches that will be played here, and we can confirm here on Ref Sports that all the three matches scheduled for the next 3 days will be played accordingly. Yes, there might be chances of matches getting washed away, but you can't help it because these three matches will be played here, is scheduled to be played here, and there has been no changes whatsoever as we are doing this video.
Exactly, you can't change the scheduling, it's already been done. And if you're planning for a ICC T20 World Cup, this happens way before time, so you can't expect it to be all changed in 2 days. But Debasis, if it continues to rain like this, we've spoken to a few of the locals, we've spoken to a few sources. They've always told us that they have a great drainage system. So I think this is the only hope that we can
at least in this area. At least in this area, the drainage is very good. But talking about the ground as well, obviously we were not allowed to go yesterday when we did visit the Central Broward Park Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. But then actually the media was not allowed because there was still some work going on inside. So that might be the reason that media was not allowed to go in. Yes, Ireland and USA were supposed to train yesterday. That also got cancelled. So it clearly shows that there are still some work going on as far as the arrangements are concerned. But talking about the outfield, we were told that local people who are involved with the ground is that the drainage facility here at the Central Broward Stadium is good. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if there is not too much rain, then we might see us shortened game as well.
Hopefully, yes. So even if it does rain, which it most likely will, if that drainage system can take it all up, can get into action really fast, then maybe we can expect some good cricket being played. But like Debasis said, we were at the stadium, not inside the stadium, of course. We were around the venue. What did you make of it, Debasis? I mean, to be honest, I think I personally enjoyed it. It had a good vibe to it. It was well done up. It had good infrastructure. You've been around for 25 years. Were you impressed with what you saw?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, this is also my first visit to Florida. Obviously, I've never been to the ground, to the stadium. But then Indian team has had the opportunity of playing here at the same venue against West Indies when they toured West Indies in a few series in the Caribbean. But then talking about the venue, it looks up like a proper cricket stadium, unlike what it was at the Eisenhower Park in New York.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was a makeshift arrangement. So this is the facilities, the arrangements will be a lot better compared to what it was in New York. Ishaan.
Yes, and let's just talk about the chances here. Do you think any team will be practicing at all before the game?
No, that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is obviously, if it rains like this, then the teams had to cancel their training, and that has been the case because the BCCI media team had shared the info in the WhatsApp group saying that practice will be subject to weather conditions. If it permits, obviously, if it doesn't rain, then we might see an optional training session. But if it stays like this, like the weather it has been, if it's there, because there is 80% chances of SARS tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, in fact, today, because the video we are doing will be telecasted today, so I think there is 80% chance of SARS.
chances. And we also got a message on our phone saying that, it's going to rain a lot. There will be a lot of floods, so make sure you stay indoors. So that's not good signs, of course, because, if you're getting messages of the rain that's going to come and impact your game and of where you are, then obviously it's a very, very serious situation. So, guys, to be honest, it's looking pretty gloomy out here as well, even though those 3 games are scheduled, it's looking difficult if the weather conditions persist like this. But Debasis, heartbreak for the fans. So many of them would want to turn out here. So many of them would want to come here. If it rains the next 3 days, it's going to be bad.
It will be a dampener for the Indian fans. Obviously, they have always turned up in huge numbers. We saw what it was in New York for the India-Pakistan and India-USA game. So once again, we might see Indian fans turning up in numbers, but the forecast might play spoil sport. Means obviously forecast of SARS might play spoil sport. But then, as is the case wherever India plays, in the Indian cricket team plays, there are a huge turnout. So I for one, keeping our fingers crossed that we get to watch some cricket. Obviously, India are on a high, having won 3 out of 3 matches. They are already in the Super 8. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. So I think all of us are excited to watch some good cricket, and we can only hope that we can expect some good cricket. The Indians, like Debasis mentioned, are on a high. They won a hat-trick of games. They want to close it and keep on winning until they reach that final stage and hopefully see it through. For the other teams, they have everything to play for. So obviously, the rain's coming down. It's not going to help them one bit. And again, for the fans, they'll be utterly disappointed if all those 3 days
and considering means take for today's game, USA versus Ireland. If USA can cause an upset win, means they could have easily put a foot forward for that Super 8. But means rain might again play a dampener. But then still, we don't know what the weather says. But it is looking very, very gloomy.
Yes. So we can't really tell you what's going to happen. Obviously, the weather forecast suggests that it will rain. And from the look right now, we're going to tell you that it will rain definitely. But let's also focus on the point that there is a good drainage system. So even if there is a lot of rain,
Ishaan, we also spoke to a few locals here, and they are pretty hopeful. Means it has been bright and sunny last week, but then all of a sudden it has started raining, and let's hear what the locals have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think let's hear what the locals have to say. So there's a nice snippet for all of you all to have a look at, and also you can get a better understanding of where we are. So make sure you tune into the video, make sure you tune into Rev Sports, and of course, like, share, subscribe, and Debasis and me will continue giving you our best work. Thank you.